Hey everyone, welcome to Donna Titans with DBR, and today we're talking about the communication between you, the players, and the developers.
Developers.
That's right, communication, because apparently you guys have had a lot of feedback about the update, about the current event, and some other things, of course, as always. And this is possibly the fastest I've ever seen the Donna Titans team respond to the overarching community of players. So today I'm going to go through the press release point by point, and I want you to tell me how you feel about it in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, what you feel, but of course, keep it on topic. Don't go crazy off the rails. Don't be like a road biker with his watermelon, okay?
スイカありますよ。OB のヤスさんが差し入れてくれたんや。冷たいうちに御堂筋。
Yeah, don't be like Medosaji. Medosaji? In any case, let's jump on over to the press release. Here we go. Boom. Now, if you guys are curious where this page is, it's right there on the screen. You can see for yourselves. But this is where they kind of give out their latest updates on the news straight from the team, the Donna Titans team. So right here you can see they're talking about the latest update, including fixes. It's 1.16.3. And so, number one, what are they talking about? The Boars have been restored. The accuracy issues involving the Boars, right? It has been fixed, is what they're saying. Now, for those of you who don't know what they're talking about, Boars are referring to Flamehide, Snowgore, and Venomtusk, the three giant pigs. I've got Flamehide, you've seen them in my videos. They were missing. Now, me personally, I haven't actually seen that. What happened for me was when he was attacking specifically ranged units, he hit him for about 1/10 their HP, and then he hit him for almost all of it for the next swing. And then the third swing is when he actually killed any ranged unit, no matter how weak. So that was what the big complaint was. It used to be whatever his range hit in the formation, that died, and what was remaining was the troops outside of his swing, which made sense. So him missing as some people said, they said he actually completely missed in their games. That supposedly has been fixed because that didn't make any sense at all. This is interesting. Cheater detection improved. I've heard a lot of you chime in on this one. So they've implemented some new tools that constantly scan and ban cheaters without direct supervisor intervention. So some sort of new program that actually does it for them, which means obviously it's going to expand the amount of detection and banning going on. So that'll be interesting to see, just players disappearing left and right. And of course, continued effort, they're saying. And yeah, you know, when it comes to hacking, as we know globally in all countries and all programs in the world, hacking is an ever-evolving power that has to be responded to by whoever's being hacked. So there you go. They're working on it, and I'll be curious to see how that cheater detection goes forward. Game crash is fixed. This is a big one. It's been really tough right after the update to stay in the fight because of the crashing and, of course, lag. And this is the 2 points that they're referencing here. So they're saying they fixed the crash of the freeze spell. Never was a problem for me from the get-go. I could freeze, no problem. But I have heard that confirmed that it was crashing as people dropped a free spell, and even on defense, if a free spell dropped, it would crash the game too. So as always, let them know if it continues to happen, but it should be fixed, they're saying. Lag is alleviated, and they're still working on alleviating the lag even more. Obviously, the LANs update created a lot more demands on our devices, and the lag became a lot more. It was, for me, at least at first, it was pretty ridiculous, but I have seen on the next update. By the way, if you go back in, you'll see an update available if you haven't actually updated the second time, and apparently now the third time. It actually had a fix in there that made it way better. It did, and it got rid of some of those issues. So that is nice. Lag alleviated is always something I'm going to be saying go for it. Garrison VP losses reduced. This is something that I'm actually kind of sad about. I think the first day of the new update in the league, I could hit garrisons for 22,000 victory points, and I was worth much less. So it was nice to have that, but what was happening was it was killing the really active players, and it was basically encouraging them not to raid. It was encouraging them to stay inside a bubble and just kind of farm around with lands and play around with the defenses being on and off. So they've made that less, so it made more sense, and I think right now it's coming more to a balance, and the larger, more active players are kind of agreeing with that. But that's always going to be an issue since VP is the main way to compete in this game. So there's always going to be a debate on that. And I am kind of curious what your thoughts are on that, because there is a entirely different perspective from players that are in the upper leagues and players that are in the lower leagues and trying to get up there on where VP should work and how it should, be amplified by larger players and larger levels and all that. Respectful troop AI. This is interesting. AI troops for bigger orders. What everyone's complaining about there, if you don't know, is the auto tracking of your troops. In other words, you say, run away from the spell, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll do that eventually after I've slaughtered everyone around me, because then they'll just auto target the nearest unit and then walk towards it like an idiot straight into a poison spell and kill themselves. And it's gotten faster. In fact, after the update, they do it even faster. Now they don't even walk for, I think it was somewhere around 3 seconds. So you could literally say run, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Missis, run, and they would continue to run. Now it's like run, 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 right? And if it's a Titan, it's even worse, because you're like, why are you still fighting, Titan? I told you to run out of that battle. You're gonna die. And he's like, I must die for my clan and for the glory of all this law. That's exactly what Titans do when they're stuck by more than 2 units. So I'm not sure if that's, it's not talking about the AI for the Titan. It's talking about troops. But there's another feedback for you guys. Make the Titan obey my orders and abandon everything else besides my orders. He did say he was serving me, right? Critical fix. This is interesting. Everyone's saying the critical was messed up. In fact, I think people said that critical didn't actually become effective within the first minute of battle. And I'm not sure if that was actually intentional or not, but they're saying they're going to address it next. So if you're curious about that, check it out. If you got 100% critical stats on troops or a Titan, see if it works within the first 60 seconds of the game. You can actually time it. Of course, they're continually improving lag. They say that again. And crashes, they're saying that again. And then here's another big one that I know there's a lot of feedback out there about this. Event restructuring. So the current event, if you guys haven't noticed, is more difficult to complete than ever before. Not only because of the event relics being of a lower star level more commonly, but also because there's less time, and then it appears as if there's not going to be a guaranteed 3-star event, which hasn't happened since, I believe, the Ranger event. So it's just very difficult to do. It requires more gems and considerably more time to complete. And of course, and then the top, prize is 16,000 souls instead of 11,000, and that combined with the other nerfs to our ability to complete it is quite brutal in an event that is already grind based. So that's the major complaint there. They're saying they hear it. They're saying they're going to address it. So I'll be curious to see what the next event looks like. And honestly, me personally, I've had a couple issues going on that haven't allowed me to really be a part of it. I had some friends in town. But besides all of that, the main issue really is Grimwald. One of the best things that happened in the update was he has this amazing change in how he looks. And I love it. He looks fantastic. But you know who loves it even more? Grimwald. He's just obsessed with himself now, and he's just flipped on his tune, as he keeps telling me, and he keeps playing it over and over again. And I'm like, Grimwald, let's go out and raid something. He's like, hang on, I got one more to go. And he just replays the same song. In fact, he's probably still doing it even right now. Narcissistic Grimwald. It's a problem. It's an issue. And he won't even really respond to his name anymore. He keeps on demanding that I call him Hot, Sticky, Sweet from his head to his feet. Yeah, he's my main rating Titan, so what can I do? He's busy. But beyond that, there's other things that have been slowing me down in the event, of course, that I just mentioned. All right, now Panthers balancing. Panthers have gained a massive power boost, and we all know this in the last update. They have armor piercing, greater damage, AI that targets ranged units like many of the melee units. I think all of them, actually. So they're evaluating if it's too much, because people were saying it's too much. Honestly, though, that was actually something I told them months ago during the Kamathy event. You guys remember when we got Kamathy? And I said to them, if you guys are trying to promote Panthers with this event and overall in the game, they're just weak. I actually kind of recommended they had a recharge attack pattern that made them so they always use their charge ability. Because I'm like, if Kamathy rolls a charge, like, no one wants that, because you got to keep telling your Panthers to run through fire. But if they even were done with down to one unit they were battling, and they just circled to another charge instead of just standing in the middle of them like a Goliath and just hitting them, but they kept moving around, they would not only dodge attacks, but they would also hit again. Maybe that's overpowered, but honestly, I think that just makes Panthers worth having. And I don't know if you guys know this, but back before Global, I think in beta, Panthers were pretty intensely powered up and they were very deadly to be feared by any attacker, and they've kind of returned to that. And I see it kind of this way. I think that's necessary to keep the game a strategic. I mean, this obviously has changed. This update has changed the way in which we attack, tactics, meta, all that. But I think it's essential to keep the game competitive on the attack aspect. It cannot just be this repetitive, always the same battle, always the same strategy. But at the same time, if that's the case, it cannot be so difficult to make Titans that are actually competitive in that realm. So in other words, with Grimvald, I can compete in Legend League. With Flamehide, I can only compete maybe a league below that, or maybe even a league below that, considering how worthless he is now. And maybe if they fix his swing, he won't be as worthless. But he's literally worthless in Legend League. He can't really attack most of the castles that have any VP worth attacking. So it's good to have different strategies, but if they make it, take a year and a half for the lowest rung of players to create one Titan that's competitive in Legend League, I get the complaint. I get the feedback. But honestly, I don't think the fix for this is making the Panthers less powerful. I think that's great that you made Panthers powerful. I think that's fantastic as a change. I think the better solution would be to make Titans easier to level up and craft as far as getting those skills unlocked to be usable, so you can put in relics that match up the holes for that Titan and his ability to have this nice large attack pattern with whatever you're using. And then that's going to make everyone competitive to the point where they want to raid more, compete more, and of course get other Titans to complete the various aspects of their strategy to go against all the ridiculously changing strategies. That to me makes sense. And that brings us down to Titan Fusion, the last point here. By popular demand, we're working on improved experience for skill and relic slot unlocks. Improved experience can mean a host of different things. Ultimately, it's going to come down to the fine point of what is the rate. And at this point, honestly, I think it would just make sense just to show the rate like Forging. Even if they didn't change it, just show the rate. Or, and of course, I've heard this multiple times, change the rate to something that you can visibly see. Like, there's other games out there where if you have an epic or a legend level item, it's going to take you, if you don't spend any money, like months to get it upgraded. But people don't mind because they actually see the different pieces going to the level of the item. So they understand that it's a long ways off, but they're getting there. As opposed to, you can try and throw in 4 weeks worth of Titans from rewards into an unlock, and it may do the whole thing, maybe worth it, and maybe the skill's worth it, or it may do nothing. And you might have just thrown away 4 Legend League wins into nothingness. I think that's one of the big knee-jerk cringe reactions to a lot of players, is when they just disappear into the eons. All right, and then last we got special rewards. With the recent change upgrading Vikings to Lightning, there will be a special celebration reward giving out for those who have played in the last month. So stay tuned. So there's the big thing right there, the big back and forth. Everyone's saying, is Lightning coming? Is Lightning ever going to come? Are we going to see it in months and months down the road? Well, here we go. Lightning may be coming shortly. And I honestly, which is what's amazing to me, is I think this is about answering 90%, if not all, of communication coming from players in some way. I know it's not all in the game, but they're saying they're working on it. And it'll be interesting to see what they mean by some of these points. But once again, I do want to hear what you have to say. You guys are always being volitionally vocal, so I'm sure that's not a long shot to ask you guys to tell me what you think. But tell me what you think. I want to hear it. Just, remember to keep the watermelon safe. All right? No Madoshijing. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Let me know how you're doing in the soul event. I want to hear it. Once again, if you have Grimvald, I have a sneaking suspicion he's doing the same thing. Maybe with a different song, though. I don't know. Maybe is his jam the same as my Grimvald's jam? Because his jam involves him dumping champagne all over the Hall of Titans, and it's just ridiculous. Ridiculous! All right, thanks for tuning in, anyone. Let me know what you think about the updates, and I'll see you next time on Dawn of Titans with DBR.